they're on the bikes because I hate to see them behind a car.
Yeah, but no, it's different though. I mean, even those people behind a car are going to be different. Sometimes when on a bike, it's like, hey, I own the road.
Yeah, I'm not. Most of them aren't that way, but there's a small percentage that are.
Yeah, and that smart train. Did they say 1 million people rode it? Every time I've seen
million,
it,
or there even 1 million people around that?
Well, the problem is we want our freedom of transportation. That's the one freedom we have in America that is indispensable. Is to go where we want, when we want, wherever we want.
Well, but someone like my brother's a general contractor. He can't take the smart train anywhere. He's got to take his tools.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean some people can take it, but some it's just not.
If this was West Virginia, we all worked for the coal mine. You
We
know,
also live in California, where everybody lives not everybody, but a lot of people live in the suburbs.
Yeah, very sprawled out.
Yeah.
Okay, we are live.
All right.
All right.
Say hi to the camera.
Hello, America.
Okay.
We're here to entertain.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this here. Okay. So I get new headphones and see
Yeah, look at that.
No paper towel on that.
Hey,
Mhm.
yeah, I love it. I can even stand this far back from the mic, and it'll still pick up. Okay.
That's true.
All right.
Okay, ready? Here we go. We already did the first segment, so let's just come back. Okay. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Bruce McGowan, and Vern showed up after being behind the train.
Finally. Good gosh, this train just stuck, just not even moving. Yeah, we're all just it's like a parking lot. Then finally the train starts moving, and then then I'm here, and then I get to the elevator. This young lady is standing by the elevator as I walked in the lobby, just here in the cozy confines of this building, and I'm just standing. We're just waiting for the elevator and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and I just say, man, what is with these elevator bills? Not that packed. And she is, well, they're really slow, and I mean not that I'm against any millennials. I mean, I have a few of my own, but she was on the younger side and distracted because she was looking straight down at a smartphone, just texting away.
Maybe she was trying to open the elevator with her smartphone.
Well, the day will come. Yeah. The day will come.
But my wife was talking, or my daughter was talking today about flying cars. I'm thinking that's not going to happen. But she thinks it is.
Well, when I was your daughter's age, I thought we'd be living like the Jetsons.
Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah, jetpacks and stuff like that. Yeah. In fact, it's so funny when we were kids. Remember at the comics, at the back of the comics, they'd have like all kinds of weird things you could buy or sell seeds.
The sea monkeys.
Yeah, all this stuff. Right? Yeah. So my brother, he said, you know what, Edward? He goes, if we save $500, we can buy a build-it-yourself helicopter. And I go, I go, Mike, you're very talented, but I go, I ain't flying a no helicopter that we're building.
No, not with you.
You know how many planes now fly themselves? I mean, the pilot still has to take the plane off the runway and bring it down. Those are the two. Yeah. But once it's up there, it's almost, unless they run into some weather. My dad was a pilot. He used to tell me the toughest part of flying is landing.
Landing, yeah, I can imagine that.
I remember when we'd come down, he'd say, "Don't talk to me right now. I'm concentrating."
Oh wow.
Okay. Anyway, back to me because I love talking about myself. Anyway,
we all do.
No. We're waiting forever this elevator. I assume she has pushed the button.
Right.
I lean over and push it, and then the light comes on.
Yeah, of course.
And she goes, "Oh, I could have sworn I pushed it. Did you see me push it?" No.
What floor did she get off on?
4th.
Okay. I'll have a talk with that young lady.
It's amazing how people hear and do what they want to see. I mean,
she was in some kind of practitioner's smock.
Okay.
So whatever office. I don't know if there's a dentist office down there or anything.
I made a comment. This is an example. I made a comment the other day on the radio on the station I work. I said the San Jose Sharks are playing the best hockey of any team in the world, which is true. You name me another team anywhere in the world is playing better than they are right now at this moment, and that may not continue. So I get a call from somebody and they say, "Did you say they're playing better than any other team in the world?" I said hockey team. People.
They hear what they want to hear. Well, I mean, like radio and in TV.
Yeah.
Our viewers, I mean, they hear about every 10th word. They're really not paying attention, and they're doing something else at the same time.
I know.
Well, okay, so you're talking about the pilots on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard this story. This is going back like 20-something years when autopilot was like getting really started.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, 30 years maybe. And there was this guy from another country, and he decided he bought an RV and he was going to travel around the United States. So
sounds like fun.
So he puts it on cruise control, thinking that meant automatic pilot. Went back to make a sandwich. Bam!
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's a joke, obviously, right?
No.
Oh,
Are you serious?
Oh
Yeah.
my God!
He came from like Saudi Arabia or something.
He was that naive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cruise control, man. That means automatic pilot. That was
Wow.
fun. And now they have driverless cars. Maybe you could do that, but back then you couldn't.
What planet did this guy come from?
Planet Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Okay, getting into sports for
Yeah.
here. Okay, so
yeah.
it was now again. We're recording this on a Tuesday, and I think this came out yesterday or this morning's paper. Kyler Murray. He's choosing football over baseball.
Yeah, I wanted to get into that. Yeah. How about that?
I don't know about you, Vernon. I'm not surprised because Heisman Trophy winner, come on. But as I said before, and again, I don't mean to be a heightist. I know I'm a tall guy. Vernon's a short guy. Not that makes it, good things do come in small packages. I know that. My daughter's a regular sized person, as they say. I'm the freak, okay? But what I'm saying is 5'8", that's tough.
Well, here's the thing.
If you're a quarterback,
what's he going to be? Is he going to be Doug Flutie short, or is he going to be Drew Brees short?
But Drew Brees is about 5'11", isn't he? 6 foot tall.
Yeah, 5'11" on a good day.
Yeah,
but still,
you got to look over these big guys. I don't know.
Well, and let's face it, bro. I mean, it's a different game now.
Oh, I know.
The guy just doesn't come back and just stay in the pocket.
If he was a running back, though, I'd say, hey, no problem. You love Frank Gore is 5'8". He's one of the best in the business.
Darren Sproles is pretty short too.
Darren Sproles is short. The guy C.J. Anderson is 5 foot.
Yeah, because when you're small like that, you can kind of fit between the guys.
You can
between their legs.
Yeah, people. If it works for Russell Wilson. Works for a lot of guys.
He's about 5'11".
Yeah. So that's kind of the prototype quarterback that they're looking for that can run out of the pocket and make something happen.
I just know the difference between college and pros in the NFL to college it's a huge leap. Just as it's even a bigger leap from minor league baseball to minor league.
Yeah, he's going to find out. But man, boy, you can't. Geez, you can't blame him.
No, I don't blame him at all. And I think the A's made some comments about it that. David Force, the general manager, said, hey, this is his opportunity. We drafted him back in June, and he got the Heisman Trophy just last month. I mean, of course.
He gets the Heisman Trophy. His stock value cannot be any higher. No. He is projected to go first round, maybe 13th to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
They could use a quarterback.
Well,
there's a lot of NFL teams that could use a quarterback.
Sure, and on top of that, if he played baseball, he'd probably have to play a couple years in the minor leagues.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, you don't just immediately get right.
No, because how do you learn how to hit all those breaking pitches?
But he is going to have to return. Now, I don't know if I read this right.
I'm hearing conflicting reports. He's either got. I've heard reports where he has to return 1.1 million. Of the money,
no.
I've heard reports that he returned.
Oh, you're talking about the bonus
of the money? Yeah.
Okay, so I heard when I started calculating the numbers, it was like all of it, but 200,000. It's like he's got to give 1.9 now and then 2.5 later.
I think
he did. Well, when he did get drafted, he did spend a day with the A's in uniform, said all the right things, did all the interviews, took BP with the team, hung out with Bob Melvin, and maybe that was worth a couple of $100,000.
If I were the A's, I would say, hey, look, this guy is a terrific talent. I mean, it is. How much money did they give him overall?
4.66 million.
4.66 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to write a good hand back.
Well, but
I've also heard that he really all this time he really hasn't acknowledged the A's at all. I mean,
he wore the hat.
Yeah, he wore the hat. Yeah, but I mean, but in let's just say within the last certainly 5-6 weeks or so, it's just been all
football. Well, yeah. I'm just saying, if I was an A's executive, and again, they're not going to do this. Maybe just take the loss and think, okay, we got the rights to him. If he doesn't make it in football,
that's my question. They got his rights, and if they do, for how long?
Yeah, how long? Yeah, that's a good question.
And then if he gets hurt in football, hopefully he won't get too hurt. He could go back to baseball, right?
Yeah. Could be.
He could. Yeah. He's so young and so talented. Yeah. I mean,
if he doesn't get hurt,
if he becomes disenchanted with what's going on. Let's just say he's not as good as he thinks he is, and he's carrying a clipboard on the sidelines. Does he want to do that, or does he want to,
Yeah. And the thing is, with it being Heisman, I mean, he'll hopefully get such a large contract.
Yeah.
Even if he only lasts 3 years in there, that'll
the money. Yeah, the money is there now. Exactly.
The only guy who's made it in both sports was Bo Jackson. I mean, Deion Sanders was a decent baseball player, but never an all-star.
But neither one of them was a quarterback.
That's
And
right.
a quarterback,
very good point.
it is the most important position. You could say it's the most important position in sports, period.
Yeah.
I mean, it is 24/7. You got to be the facility all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no days off here or there.
Yeah, pitchers are important, but you get a lot of days off.
Well, you get one every
First commercial break here. Okay, we're talking. This is general trivia. Who is generally regarded as the fastest NFL player? And I think they're talking all time.
Currently.
No, of all time.
Of all time?
Yeah.
Holy moly!
It'll be someone you'll
I
know the name.
got a possibility.
This one I guessed correctly.
There you go.
Okay, and then again, I guess it's well, I don't know how subjective this really is, right? Because you can do a stopwatch. But who is generally regarded as the fastest NFL player who would ever lived? All right.
Whoever played the game.
Yes. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. If you want to email me, it's edward@sportsecon101. We'll see if you know the answer to this question. Who's generally regarded as the fastest NFL player of all time? All right. Don't touch that dial. The best of that. That's my other show. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. I got to figure out which show I'm on.
You actually get emails once in a while back?
Once in a while. We don't get them as often. I mean, some of the questions, if you notice, some of them are hard.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people, if they know it's being recorded, they go, "Well, why am I going to answer? It's too late."
Yeah.
Be interesting to see. I'm curious to see how many. I guess you got 123 stations.
Are you on Twitter?
I don't personally use Twitter, but Darren did say that. I mean, we're going like this, and they measure stops, cumulative, and all that, and the numbers keep going up. We're at a couple 100,000 listeners according to
Twitter.
So because we don't. I mean, during the course of the show, we don't pimp it.
No.
Twitter to me is the most classic example of the attention deficit syndrome, because I see people on it, they're just boom, 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 boom. How can you even focus for 5 minutes? I mean, I do it.
So when we were watching Super Bowl, Mark,
I'm trying to watch the game, and I'm at the game, and people are doing this.
The thing. Mark was checking every time there was a play. He was checking Twitter to see what the comments
Instagram, Twitter.
How can you even keep track of stuff? And I just don't. I mean, I do the Facebook thing, which is bad enough.
And I only check Facebook like I get
According to the kids, Facebook is for old.
Yeah, you know something? There are more users worldwide than any other platform.
True, but I think that
over
is
2 billion.
Yeah. Oh, is it over 2 now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it may be that way, but this whole thing about, don't get me started about the younger demographic, because they're not listening to the radio.
It's all Bush's fault.
No, I guess
we gotta
it's
change
just
that
the
now.
world we live in today. We're so distracted. I think this is how Donald Trump gets elected president.
By the distraction?
I think people. I think a lot of people are so distracted.
I understand. He has no attention span either.
No.
Yes. Tell by the amount of tweets he does, right?
Yeah.
Sure. The latest. I mean, the latest is that he's not at all happy with this compromise.
Of course not.
He's threatening another shutdown. He says probably won't happen, but he's threatening it. The guy's just an idiot. This is our the most.
I'm sorry. Like I said, it'll be an entertaining 8 years, and then.
But it's funny that after a while it's sad. It's sad that we've become. I mean, there are a lot of people that are suffering because of this asshole.
Well, there's a lot of people with the thing that I think is kind of interesting personally is the income tax situation. Right? A lot of people assumed, okay, he's putting all this time. I'm going to get all these breaks, and now people are starting to look at their refunds being a lot smaller, or starting to and they're going, what the.
Well, most of the people who are smart.
Aren't the farmers upset because he had promised all these things, and the farmers are like, it was like, hey man, we put this guy in office. So.
Most of the people who are smart enough are doing okay. The people who are not smart are basically poor and middle class people who don't have time to even think about anything like that, and they're getting screwed.
Well, a lot of people do vote their pocketbook, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if suddenly their pocketbook is different than what they thought it was going to be, because they voted for him, that may shift.
I mean, the number of jobs that are available right now has never been greater. But can you make a living wage? And if you got a family with some of these jobs, I don't think so.
Can't support it.
No, you can't. Most of them turn over. I mean, look at the tech world. They turn over kids like potato chips.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many people have jobs that last over 2 years?
Like Kleenex.
My brother-in-law worked for 8 years for Autodesk. They sent him out the door once. He came back. They hired him again. They sent him out the door a second time. He's 59 years old.
Wow.
What kind of a job is he going to get?
Well, interesting enough, so
middle management.
Christian had, he worked for Edwards Life Science, and he wanted to come back up to the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason, maybe my headphones are acting.
It's an occasional crack.
Yeah. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's just my-
almost like a
Okay.
overmodulation kind of.
I have hearing damage from headphones. I
Yeah.
only
Gotcha,
use them when I
okay.
have to.
Okay,
You
I
know?
think it's okay.
So
But anyway, so he worked for Edwards Life Science, decided he wanted to come back to the Bay Area, got a job, and then what he ended up doing was Edwards reached out to him again. You know, he wanted to give him a really kind of a cool job. Thing is, he just changed jobs, and
Yeah.
he doesn't want to do that to the new employer, and you know, so he'll just kind of keep in contact with him. But I thought it was pretty cool.
yeah. Sounds like broadcasting.
Yeah, really.
I've had 11 jobs in 47 years, 43 years, 44 years, whatever it's been. 11 jobs. Not to mention all the part-time jobs. No
All right,
complaints, though.
here we go.
Never boring.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Bruce McGowan and Vern Glenn. First trivia question was, who is generally regarded as the fastest NFL player?
I'm going to make a guess, and I'll let Vernon make a guess too. This is going way back. The great Olympian Bob Hayes, world's fastest human.
Bullet Bob Hayes.
Yeah.
That's a good guess.
Yeah, he played with the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the 60s.
And that's exactly who we were thinking of.
Yeah.
Robert Bullet Bob Hayes.
Yeah.
He won the 100 meters in the 1964 Olympics.
Yep.
He was, and I saw. Boy, I remember watching him.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it was. Well, actually, yeah.
The Tokyo Games, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't watch him there. I was a little too young, but
Yeah.
But when
That was the first summer games I ever really paid attention to, and he was amazing. Yeah.
I like
watch
to-
him in football.
I'd like to see him run against that receiver from the Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
Like both of them in their prime. I'd like to see that.
Well, how fast is
He's regarded as the fastest guy in the league.
Yeah.
like right now?
You talk about fast players. I remember, and again, you guys would remember this guy because you've been in the Bay Area, but most of our listeners never even heard of this guy. Played only 4 years in the NFL. Warren Wells.
Oh, sure.
38.
There was a documentary on him.
Yeah, 38 touchdowns in 4 years. His average catch per yard, average yardage per catch was 23 yards. And he had incredible hands, incredible speed, but he had some off-field problems and was sent to jail. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it, but when he came back after 1 year, skills were completely gone, and there are a number of reasons for that. But it's a real. He just died recently. He was 70. I'm gonna say 76.
Yeah, dementia.
Dementia. Well, he got
Yeah.
screwed up. There was a cult thing called Synanon that was supposed to help out people with problems, and they did. It was like it was horrible. Yeah, they did some bad things. So he never was the same. But I remember as a kid, when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, he made some incredible catches, and he would catch a ball in the open field, and he put a little move on a guy. It's like, where is he? He's gone, George Atkinson, who's a friend of mine who played for the Raiders during those years, defensive back, said that he and Jack Tatum, it was actually before Jack Tatum, Willie Brown, the great Hall of Famer, would try to guard this guy in practice, and they couldn't guard him. It was great. He said it was great because we had to go up against the best, so it made us that much better.
We just got to play 5 more yards back.
To make a difference. Yeah, well, the problem is he catch the ball in front of you, and then he'd make one move and
he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
Oh man, can you imagine if he didn't have those problems?
And he had that fluidity. That's what Bob Hayes had. He had that. When I say the fluidity, he moved so smoothly. It didn't even look like he was veering this way or that way. He just would go.
Isn't that what they teach you?
Instead of the juke moves,
yeah,
bam.
Yeah.
Don't they say, wait, you can't teach speed?
Jerry Rice was that way. Remember Jerry Rice?
Can't teach speed, you can't teach height either.
Yeah.
You can't.
No. But Jerry Rice, I remember I was going to say, Jerry Rice, he'd get in the open field. Forget it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that's
That
great.
guy was amazing.
So, Vern, before you got here, I told Bruce that I have this new thing called Did You Know? That'd be kind of fun, right? My son got me for Christmas this book of all kind of interesting sports oddities, So, okay, did you know that in the early 19th century, students at Yale, Harvard, Princeton, and Dartmouth played with a ball similar to a British rugby ball? These games were so violent that Yale and Harvard banned them for a time in the 1860s.
So they played this back in the
Basically
1830s and 40s or something.
Yeah, and it was, I guess it was
That
like
surprised me.
football, but I guess like with
Kind of
rugby.
like a rugby. Yeah.
And then on that note, in the 1905 football season, 19 players were killed
Yeah.
and 150 seriously injured. President Roosevelt, petty back then, threatened to close the game down unless it was made safer.
That's right. Well, that's when they had to finally, and they didn't use
Leather
helmets
helmets,
until the 1920s.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Well, you say, what was it, Leatherheads with George Clooney? You see that?
Yeah, and those weren't really very effective.
No, I mean, it's
moderately.
Yeah, all you had was like just basically this piece of leather on top of your
But
head.
as we know today, I mean, it's not so much the helmet to helmet hits; it's the sudden stop and start. That happens in football that creates these concussion problems.
Oh yeah, because your brain is like in liquid.
Yeah,
and it gets hit against.
It's
the
same thing. I mean, anybody? I'm sure some of our listeners out there have been in a fender bender, and a bad one.
Oh yeah.
I was in a bad one once, and I had a concussion. And for a couple of days, I'm walking around in a daze. I had to call my boss. I can't come to work. I was in a fender bender. Well, come on, the fender bender. Jeez, come on now. She wasn't happy with me.
Hey, while I was away before I jumped in, did you guys talk about Bryce Harper at all?
No,
not at all.
What is it going to take to get him on the dotted line?
About $30 million for. I mean, the Nationals offered him $100 million for what was it?
No, $300
million
for 10 years.
Well, he's 26 years old.
So I guess
and his people said that he will not sign a short-term deal with any team.
He doesn't have people. He has a person, Scott Boras, and Scott Boras is known to get the highest deal possible.
But nothing but a long-term deal.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
10 years is a long term.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, but
he doesn't want to play with the Nats, so.
the Giants are toying around with like maybe 2 years, $80 million, something like that.
Yeah, I heard 3 years and $100 million, but then again, that's just what I'm hearing. And
right.
What is that?
So what does he consider a long time? Anything over 5 years?
Yeah, I would think so.
I would say, yeah. I think if you start with 8, then maybe you get his attention.
The thing is,
and then Boras will sit down and lean forward.
Teams right now, look at all the free agents that are out there. Manny Machado hasn't been signed. There are all these big names that have not
really
been
good
signed.
players.
Yeah,
really good players are out of work.
You think the owners are going to get together and collude?
No, it's not that. It's just that they're waiting to see what Harper does.
Yeah.
So then the rest of the dominoes fall in place.
Now, with Harper, is it mostly just him saying, "Listen, I just don't want to play for the Nationals anymore"?
I think he just wants to play for an organization that the Nationals are a good team.
But
they're not. They have proven time after time to not be the team that can take it to the next level.
They just can't.
For whatever reason.
Is it pitching?
No, it's the ownership.
Well, but I mean,
it's the ownership. That's where it all starts. I mean, look at. I'm going to make it very simple for you. Look at the Warriors. Classic example. Horrible ownership for 16 years, one playoff berth. Now they're the best team in sports.
Well, I mean, you got to spend the money to get them.
It's not so much spending the money; it's spending the money wisely.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I mean,
they fired Dusty Baker, who was their best manager,
and put the right people in place. Yeah. Robert Kraft, Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, look how long they've been at the top.
Yeah.
Joe
Lacob and Peter Goober, Warriors, have only been up they've only had the team for 6 or 7 years, but they've been in 4.
But I mean, it just takes the right structure. Bill Belichick. Nobody wants to talk about his tenure with the Cleveland Browns. Couldn't win anything.
Yeah.
It's the structure.
Well, it's interesting too, because if I remember correctly, didn't the Goober and Lacob get booed as soon as they
that's because they traded away Monte Ellis.
They traded Monte Ellis,
which was great.
Which was a great move. They got Andrew Bogut. They got a big man. The Warriors never had a big man ever. But Nate Thurman left.
They had plans. They had vision.
Yeah.
And
they had the money to spend it on the right players.
Exactly.
I mean, like how do you get Kevin Durant? You got to pay him a lot, but you got to put him on a team that good.
Be interesting to see if he comes back. I think
we should see if he and Kyrie Irving go to the Knicks, and if the Knicks continue to tank. By the way, they've lost 17 in a row as we do this show.
Well, they got rid of Kristoff.
They would get a chance to get Zion Williams.
Yeah, but who wants to play? Who wants to play for this idiot Dolan? I mean, he's a complete nincompoop. Even the dumbest athletes who think that they're going to get lots of money and win a championship understand better than you and I what the atmosphere is like. The Knicks are a horrible, horrible organization.
But it's New York. It's Madison Square Garden.
I understand that.
It's where everything happens. And if you get those 3.
Yeah, but that doesn't guarantee anything. I mean, we've seen this happen all too often.
It doesn't guarantee everything, but it makes the Knicks all of a sudden, bam, relevant.
Okay, so how much
on everybody's talk show? Everybody.
Yeah, but that doesn't translate into wins.
Okay, now is the ownership of the Knicks, is he like really, really, really involved, like Steinbrenner type, or is it more that he's hiring?
He just hires people that he doesn't. For instance, he brings in Phil Jackson, and then Phil Jackson is sort of just almost laissez-faire. I think Phil Jackson's past the point of really wanting to be involved. He's in his 70s. He's tired. He's making good money. He's probably looking at the thing and saying, I'm getting a nice paycheck here. This thing isn't going anywhere. And it isn't. How many games have they lost in a row? 17?
17, as we do this show.
Yeah, 17. And they just traded away half
is
the
probably
team.
wiping his brow going,
Yeah.
I'm out of there.
It's too bad, too.
Clearly tanking.
It's
Clearly.
too bad because, as Vernon mentioned, I mean, I worked in New York for a year, and that is one of the great venues in all of sports, Madison Square Garden. It really is. Yeah. It's the center of the universe, in a sense. I mean, literally. So, but I'm not convinced, and as long as Dolan owns him, I've read too much about this guy. Really? You know, he's a poor little rich boy. Yeah, he's not a dummy, but he's like a lot of these guys. They got a big ego, and they think they know everything.
Same is said about Snyder with the Redskins, but yeah he's not going anywhere.
Well, did he inherit the money? Is that?
No. He inherited some. He did inherit some, and he made some. It's kind of like this guy down in Dallas who's a big blowhard, Jimmy Jones. He was, or what's his name?
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. I can't remember the guy's name. You know, he won 3 titles in 4 years, but since then, what have they done? You know, they've been an also-ran. Yeah. They've been a decent team, but because he meddles too much.
But if you look at the books, Bruce, again, I hate to say it, it is all about the Benjamins and the Dallas Cowboys, most expensive franchise in the NFL.
But they don't win. They don't. How many times have they been in the conference finals?
Doesn't matter, man. He's counting his money.
I know.
Doesn't matter. I'm telling you. Hey,
it matters to him.
Econ 101. He's counting his money.
I know, but that's the problem. Everybody seems to think that if you spend the money, you're going to win. That the Yankees have proven that's not true. How many World Series have the Yankees won since 2001? And they've had more money than anybody.
Still, hey, see, Yankee, when they come to town, oh my God, the circus is here.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's just the cachet they got.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like those teams over in England, you know, Chelsea and Manchester City, and you know, Crystal Palace.
I mean, look at the Lakers. I mean, they got some good talent, you know, and it's like sometimes just can't quite get there.
Yeah, Magic though was willing
but still, you know, in the Q rating in Los Angeles, who's the top team? It is the Lakers.
But Magic was willing to trade the entire core of that young team to bring in Anthony Davis. How stupid is that?
Yeah,
that is just dumb. Why do you do that?
Is that on the record though? Is that really on the record?
Again, that's
or is this somebody said it in the hall and then somebody tweeted it and then all of a sudden it's fact?
But it's all I'm saying that's what was reported again.
All right, let me go on to this quick.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who said if it weren't for baseball, I'd be in either the penitentiary or the cemetery?
Oh man, that's a
good
quote.
Stay with us, Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back. Sorry, we're starting to run over on that one.
You may be right about that, but I mean, Magic's a smart guy, but they're so far and few between their good owners.
But my point is the whole, you know, the old days of reporting and getting 2 sources on the reg are gone.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, somebody could say, "Hey, I thought I saw Janet Jackson in the hallway." Yeah. Somebody overhears it and they tweet, "Janet Jackson is in the hallway."
That's why I don't read Twitter.
And then it's, oh my God! Well, what's Janet Jackson doing in San Rafael?
90% of Twitter is
picked up,
nonsense,
and then it's twinding, and then you know.
Well, especially since you can do it anonymously, right?
90% of Twitter is more than 90% is nonsense, and the problem is that 5% that's worth listening to, you have to go through the other 95%.
Yeah, you got to filter through it. Yeah, there's certain people you have to follow that you know are legit.
Steve Victor gave me a hard time about that. He goes, "You got to tweet." I said, "Not at night. I don't. I'm covering the games. I don't have time to sit there and analyze what somebody else thinks about this game. I'm trying to watch it and actually report on what I'm seeing."
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, sometimes I'll get some interesting things off of like Yahoo comments, you know, and not looking necessarily for gospel, but it's like someone will bring a perspective to something and go, you know what, that's an interesting perspective.
Well, you know, it's like Twitter is like a talk show. That's what it is. Yeah. It's exactly like what people are used to calling the talk shows. 90% of it is just nonsense and noise. You're right, though. The 10% or 5% that's legitimate, you have to kind of pay attention to, unfortunately.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Here you go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Bruce McGowan and Vern Glenn. All right, who said if it weren't for baseball, I'd be in either the penitentiary or the cemetery? Penitentiary, you don't hear that term anymore.
Which made me think of Jeffrey Leonard.
Jeffrey Leonard, you know, the thing, Hackman Leonard, who played with the Giants, he had the penitentiary face, they used to call it. But he was a sweetheart.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Absolute sweetheart. Nice guy. I remember him coming up to me once coming up to me in the locker room. I asked him for a clubhouse, they like to call it, and asked him for an interview. He looks at me, he gives me that scowl. He goes, "Who are you? What do you want?" He grabs my press pass and looks at it closely. I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Were you shaking in your boots or just
I kind of laughed it off. I tried not to, I knew he was just messing with me.
How tall are you, 6'5"?
Yeah, but I just, I dealt, this is good. I don't want to go off on a tangent about this, but I've dealt with dysfunctional people all my life. So the dysfunctional people I see in sports are mild compared to some of the people I've dealt with. Don't get me started about that.
The way I look at it is, we all put our pants on one at a time.
That's right.
Jeff Kent used to come up to me and go, I don't do interviews, sir. And I said, Jeff, you know me. You don't know you call me sir. What do you want me to call you? Bleep, 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 bleep. I said, no, actually, sir sounds good.
Where did he come from? Sounds like
He's from Southern California.
He's from is it like Orange County?
Yeah, he's from Orange County, but his dad was a cop.
Yeah.
And his dad was tough.
Like from Mississippi, though.
No, he cultivated that. He moved to Texas. Gotcha. But interesting story about him. His dad he'd go to the games, and Jeff would get 3 hits. And Dad, what'd you think? He goes, what happened on that fourth one?
Yeah.
That's how his dad was.
Well, crazy.
Wait, he didn't have a Jewish mother, did he? Because this is a joke. And I can tell this because I'm, brought up Jewish. So for Hanukkah, mother gives a red sweater and a blue sweater to the son. Oh, thanks, Mom. Next week he comes for dinner. He goes, this will be nice. He goes, look, Mom, I wore the red sweater. She goes, you didn't like the blue one?
Do you like that?
Okay, so let me give you the answer. Okay, you have to go back in time.
Okay.
For this one. This will make sense to you.
That's easy for me to do. I live in the past.
Okay, so the question is, who said if it weren't for baseball, I'd be in either the penitentiary or the cemetery? Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth? He was raised in a Wayward Home for Boys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Farm school or something like that.
Yeah, outside of Baltimore.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, now I've had this article for a while. Let's say this came out in Sports Illustrated in December 2018. So I've had this for a while. I just thought I'd bring it up because we have more time here. So this woman, let's see, Queen. They call it Queen's Gambit. And so what is her name? Let's see. I can't. Come on. Is it Lane? Her last name is Lane. Oh, Lisa Lane. There you go. In 1969.
No relation to Lois Lane. Right?
No.
Superman's girlfriend.
Kind of looks like her, but okay. It's demonstrated against gender inequality in chess in 1966, but little has been
1966?
Yeah, because this is in 1961. It came out in Sports Illustrated.
Wow.
Playing chess. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So it says here, there's still a world of difference between women's world championship and the world championship, which I guess is men's. In the women's tournament, 64 players compete, yada yada. The prize is smaller for women, 60,000, while for men it's 600,000. Okay, so I'm looking at this, I'm going, why would there be a difference? I mean, I understand if it's basketball or something like that.
Look at the year, 1966.
No, but just in general though, chess. I mean, if what are they saying? That women's chess is not as exciting as men, and they can't play as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that to me. It's just an intellectual thing. That should be
completely the same. We were talking about this.
Well, it's happening now. I mean, the LPGA purse is smaller than the PGA.
Yeah.
Women's tennis, they make less money than
men. But see, when you watch that though, you can see the difference between men and women. Okay, well, in basketball too, like faster sport and that sort of thing, dunking, all that excitement. Yeah. But at chess, I mean, chess is chess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, watch her move the pawn that way. I mean,
right.
that to me, I don't see the difference. In fact, why don't men play women?
I think women sometimes get a little overboard, but I understand it. I mean, women didn't have the vote in this country until 1920, and that sounds like
really
a long
good question.
time ago.
I would love to see that. Men against women in chess.
Yeah.
Just matching wits, intellect, moves, strategy. I would love to. Yeah. Well, that's one of the few sports where
it should be completely equal, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was a young lady, I think she came from some African country, and she was like a teenager, but she was such a chess whiz. I remember reading, this is probably, again, going back 20 or 30 years. This woman, young lady, I mean, she was like, 15 years old or something.
Genius, huh?
Yeah. She had such a, call it a photographic mind for all intents and purposes. She could play 8 matches at the same time, blindfolded, and win every one of them because she'd remember how each.
All the moves,
I mean, that's just ridiculous. Who was it? John Havlicek who memorized the Houston phone book or something, which was like 3 inches thick.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Speaking of women's sports, we got to get on sometime because I think she would have made a very good men's coach, but she is not interested at all in ever being a men's coach. Is Tara Vanderveer.
Well, she's been on the show a couple times.
Yeah, we've had it. It was a couple of years ago, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe a year ago.
She's great.
And one of the questions I asked her,
just recently, she just She just suffered the worst loss of her career
I heard about that.
as Stanford coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oregon came in and handed it to them, beat them by 40.
Oregon is
88. No, yeah, 88 to 40.
88 to 40.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
88 to 48.
Yeah. They had a good crowd on hand. They had
at Maples
They
Pavilion.
had almost 6,000 people there.
But Oregon's third ranked in the country. I mean, they're really good, and they have the young lady from East Bay or the Bay Area, Sabrina UNESCO, and who went to Marymount High School, and she's just been just all world. It just in one weekend, she single-handedly destroyed Cal, and she destroyed Stanford on Sunday.
Wow. What's Stanford's rating?
Stanford was 11th ranked going in. They had won 22 straight home games. I mean, Stanford's they're no.
11 versus 3. You shouldn't be losing by 40 points.
It happens though, you know.
But they just got hammered.
I mean, sometimes remember game. It's like none of the all-stars any of the 3-pointers.
Well, did you see the game the other night against Miami, a Sunday game? They were down 26-7 in the first quarter. They ended up winning that game. The only reason they won it was the referee overlooked the double dribble by Kevin Durant. He hits a 3-pointer to tie the game, and Steve Kerr mentioned afterwards, he goes, "That was a bad call. We got a break."
Yeah, but there were other ones where they got called for fouls that they shouldn't have. I mean, and they didn't get.
Yeah, but I mean, a critical point. Whenever it's like the New Orleans Saints, having their same kind of thing. The critical point, you don't want to have a mistake like that. Oh no, not good.
Just for fun, again, we're going to do another.
This show is just moving by too fast.
I know it is. We're having a lot of fun. That's kind of fun. Okay, did you know that? Now, this is kind of interesting to me because I think remember how for a time fans would go on the field, they'd show them, and then they'd end up like not now they don't show them, but they arrest them and all that.
Oh yeah. TV cameras purposely do not put them on
because they don't want it to encourage it. Okay, so did you know that during the 1958 NFL championship game, which wasn't that the big one?
That was Baltimore Colts, New York Giants. Alan Amici, winning touchdown. Yep.
Yeah. Frank Gifford
got knocked out of the game by Big Daddy Lipscomb. Cracked him and knocked him out of the game.
Wasn't it Bednarik?
No,
Chuck Bednarik. He played for the Eagles.
For the Eagles, yeah.
Philadelphia and say the Eagles.
Big Daddy Lipscomb, who died at the age of 33.
Whoa.
That's a sad story.
Okay, that's not because he hit Frank.
No,
okay.
No. Right, he was a rough character. He got himself into some trouble.
So get this. Okay, so during the 1958 NFL championship game, an NBC employee ran onto the field posing as a fan in order to delay the game because the national feed went down.
That's right. It did for about 3 minutes.
Wow.
They lost it. Can you imagine that?
And that's probably guessing that's what started. So a fan going on the field and
that game.
But if nobody saw it.
No, but that game was really the turning point in the NFL. That's when the NFL really started to become.
They call it the greatest game.
Yeah, no question.
No, there's a lot of great games that came after that too.
There were, and then when the two leagues merged in 1970, and you had Monday Night Football the same year. That's when football took over.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody had seen a sudden death NFL championship game on television.
On national.
And that came along with some of the greats of the game in that game.
I was 6 years old, and I remember my dad was not huge, but he was a big New York Giants fan. We're watching that game. I don't really remember anything distinctive about it because I've read a lot about it, so I know all these little details. But he was just in awe. And I do remember that the TV screen went blank for a while. It's like, what the heck is going on here? That's
for a full 3 minutes?
Yeah, they went to commercials, and they lost. Okay. Somebody apparently knocked out one of the cables on the field, and they had to figure out.
That would do it.
Yeah. So it's funny. My brother-in-law is one of those guys who holds the big dish, and runs down the field.
The parabolic mic.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
that's how you get the great dad sound.
Yeah, that's right.
And
pads popping.
Apparently, some I don't know which game it was, but some cameraman, from up above, kind of saw us because he was running as fast as the running back. And then he ended up knocking over a referee because and he told the referee before, he goes, "Listen, I'm going to be running. You got to get out of the way." And bam!
Wow. I'm telling you, the noise and the fury and the sound of that game on the sidelines. And I know, Vernon, you've been on the sidelines a number of times. I did sidelines for the Raiders for a couple of years on radio. It's scary, some of the hits you see up close. Woo. Those guys deliver some pain.
That's why they wear helmets.
Like I said.
Sometimes helmets just ain't enough.
Well, again, like you said, it's the back and forth stuff here. Kind of crazy. All right, let's do one more. Did you know here? According to declassified CIA records, Hitler's rallying cry "Sieg Heil" meaning Hail Victory was modeled on the techniques used by American football cheerleaders. I don't remember the Dallas Cowboys yelling Hail Victory, do you?
No, but I mean, not to get off on a tangent, but I mean, that guy used a lot of phrases and things that got in a very simple, straightforward way that got people.
And he was the one who said, if you tell a lie long enough, it will get believed, and if it's, let's see, what was it? And if it's
the bigger the lie,
the easier it is to convince people it's true.
Gee, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I wonder where I've heard that before.
Fake news. Bruce, we don't go into fake news on do we? All right. Okay, one more here. Okay, did you know the average lifespan for an NFL player in 1994 was 55 years compared to 77 and a half for the rest of the U.S. population?
Doesn't surprise me.
I wonder what it is now, but that was 1994.
Doesn't surprise me. I remember talking to Lincoln Kennedy after games. Big guy, 6'8", 320 pounds. And I said, Lincoln, you okay? He goes, I'm just hurting all over. You see him now, Lincoln. Yeah. Nicest guy in the world. I'm so glad
I was got him. Dennis Brown. They're just
great guy.
These guys, they inflict the pain. They don't get the pain.
They get plenty of it. You get hit every single play if you're on that line. Every single play.
Okay, we got one more last one here. Now, this one's kind of interesting. Okay, did you know NFL football fields must be built facing north/south or in the shade so the sun doesn't interfere with play? But I'm trying to think of like Levi Stadium. Is it mostly just the fans that get all that sun in the afternoon?
On the visitor side, yeah.
It's funny.
Never on the home team
it's
side.
funny that the same thing happened for years with the Oakland Raiders and their East stands, and nobody ever complained. People are just soft. People want all their creature comforts. If they're paying $150 a ticket, I don't blame them.
I wouldn't blame them either.
But I'm just saying, also the Niners have put a crappy product on the field for the better part of 4 years.
Oh yeah.
They've had one season, Jim Harbaugh's last, where they were a 500 team. The rest of the time it's been. I think they're on the right track though with the Cowboys.
Oh, hopefully Garoppolo will come back.
Yeah.
Okay, here's our last trivia question: which early pitcher achieved a .323 batting average, an ERA of 2.14, and a winning percentage of .796, a record that apparently still stands today? Now it's kind of a hard one, so I'm going to tell you that he's considered one of the early inventors of baseball as we know it today.
Inventors?
Wow. So we're talking about an early era.
We're talking about 19th century then. Huh?
Yes, we are. Okay, that's our trivia question. So he had a .323 batting average, so obviously it was before the designated hitter.
Yeah.
An ERA of 2.14 and a winning percentage of .796. This still stands today, all right? Jeez. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with that answer.
That's a good one.
Is it Babe Ruth?
No, he's going back to the 19th century.
Yeah, it's got to be.
He was only 5 years old. He was born in 1895, I think, right?
This guy was born in 18.
No. Babe Ruth was born in 1895.
Yeah, Babe Ruth died young. He was only, I think, 52. Throat cancer. Yeah. He lived a hard life, though.
Yeah,
he drank and smoked. Yeah. God, he took terrible care of himself. On the way to the ballpark, he would have his buddy, who was with him. He'd say, I got to stop off. And he'd stop off at some gal's house and have a little fun with her. And then he'd get back in the car. This is, probably some of this is a little exaggerated, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But as Mickey would say in Rocky, women weaken knees.
Didn't seem to hurt Babe, though. He played till he was, 39 or 40 years old?
Didn't hurt Joe Namath.
No. Yeah. But you look at Joe Namath's stats. He threw more interceptions than touchdowns. Yeah. But he did win one of the most important games.
But so what? He didn't win one major game. He was.
But you know something? The defense won that game.
Of course.
7 points.
Yeah, they had 5
turnovers. Only
scored
one touchdown.
Yeah. It was 16
Matt
7.
Snell around the corner, touchdown.
Weeb Eubanks and Emerson Boozer.
Yeah, that was a great team. For 1 or 2 years, they were something.
Yeah. All right, ready? Here we go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. At last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan and Vern Glenn. And our last trivia question, it was a tough one. Which early pitchers, we're talking 19th century, averaged a .323 batting average, because pitchers used to hit back then, an ERA of 2.14 and a winning percentage of .796, a record that apparently still stands today. And hint, he is considered one of the early, quote, inventors of baseball as we know it today.
The only guy I can think of is Cy Young, but that's
no, it goes before him.
I don't think he was much of a hitter.
Before Cy Young. Christy Mathewson?
Before him. Before him.
In fact, he invented the baseballs he invented the baseball designs that we use today.
drawing the blank.
Albert Spalding.
Oh, geez.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
You ever heard of Spalding?
Spalding
I
baseball.
didn't even know he played in the major. Of course, they didn't have Major League Baseball back in those days. They had professional baseball, but so it was called something else.
Rounders or Town.
No, they had the National League back in the. I think
Oh,
the National League started
definitely.
in 1876, and the American League started in the late 19th century, and then the two leagues merged in 1903.
You had the
So
Federal League and all that.
that only lasted a couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, that was like the WFL. You know, the World Football. League.
I
It
remember
lasted
that.
a couple of years. Yeah,
It was kind of fun now, wasn't it? Okay.
It was.
All right, so here's our thoughts for the day. Don't waste your time looking back at what you've lost. Move on. Life is not meant to be traveled backwards. It's true,
Tell
isn't it?
me that.
And
I'm living in the past all the time.
Yeah.
God, you're bringing back the 19th century. That's before my time. God almighty.
Sometimes we'll have to have a bowling question. It goes back to Egyptian times, like
Yeah.
3000 BC or something.
Yeah.
Okay. And your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds.
Oh, I like that one.
Like that.
That's good.
We can have a little bit of poetic stuff on
Good deal.
Sports Econ 101. Sports, economics, and poetry. I mean, it doesn't get any better than
You
that.
know,
Right?
so the problem with this show goes by too fast.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Boy, okay, so Super Bowl's over. Spring training is going to start.
NBA All-Star game this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I guess it'll be a little exciting just because the players got to choose the teams this year. But yeah, I don't know.
Team Giannis and Team LeBron.
Yeah,
It should be fun.
All right, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long. All right, perfect timing.
See, I'm wedded to Sports Econ 101.
You are.
Look, see? Very lucky. I'm wedded. Oh, my God.
Hey.
My financial advisor's calling me up. Jesus. What's new?
Hey, can I do a little work here for about a half hour? Can I brought my little laptop?
Yeah, you want to use the desk out there?
Yeah,
John's not going to be here, so you can use either the
Awesome.
There. Yeah.
Is there Wi-Fi?
There is.
Lovely.
It's EQSR is the, and then I'll have to look up the password.
All right. Beautiful.
Sure. Not a problemo. Alrighty. Let us see. What are we doing here? Still recording. Believe it or not. Trying to get this to 56 minutes.
Hey, Irma, it's Bruce McGowan calling you back. I was right in the middle of doing a radio show, so I couldn't talk to you. But I'm assuming you have a question about that document I sent you, which is from Susquehanna Falsgraf, the company I used to work for, and it's just over a couple of $1,000s. They still have an account that they want to get to me. I don't know, other than you getting in touch with them, how to do this. I think you have to go back and forth with them, fill out a form or something, or I have to fill out a form. Anyway, if that's what the question is about, give me an inquiry. I got all your information that you sent. The accounts, I know we're almost ready to, consolidate both of our accounts from Edward Jones. So anyway, give me a call back when you have a chance. No rush. It's about 11:30 on Tuesday. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
So what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
I don't know.
I know. This year, it's funny. My wife just kind of goes, yeah, I don't go
What is that, tomorrow?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah. Sometimes what we've done is just gone to Whole Foods and get.
Women are so much into that stuff. My daughter and my wife. My daughter's so smart. She goes, I already got Colette a present from you.
Present. Yeah, I mean,
She's such a great
flowers
kid.
and all that.
Yeah.
Well,
I should
you know
do
what?
something for her.
You treat them special every night,
Yeah.
right?
Edward, my energy level is just so fucking low. I don't have any anymore. I'm 67 years old. I just don't have it. I've got a. It's kind of like running a marathon. I've got a wall. I've got a wall. Like give me mile 20, and I can continue going, but I'm gonna have to slow down.
You take any kind of supplements, vitamins?
Oh, you know, I exercise. I just don't get enough sleep. And it's hard. It's hard thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's serious.
Yeah.
I had 2 strokes. They were major, but that's kind of like a warning. So,
I was gonna say, what can you do about it?
Well,
you know,
it's just it's you know what it is more than anything else. It's who I am. I'm just wound really tight. I always have been, and that's probably the good news. The good news is I got the broadcasting, which allows you to kind of channel that thing. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of us, I'm just all the nonsense and minutia and silliness of stuff that I can't control.
Well, that's the thing. All the political stuff, you can't let that get.
I know. I don't anymore. I get.
And the same thing, if it's the person you want to be in office gets in, you can't get too excited about that either.
No. I think this whole thing with my wife is just, it's really. Yesterday I'm taking my dogs for a walk, and it's a funny story. You got a second?
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm walking the dogs. They're these 2 little dogs. They're painted. They're okay. They're sweet. The bigger one, you know, is staying in front of me. I'm pulling him back because he's constantly. The other one just right along my side. She's about this big.
Okay.
And I'm not paying attention, and she trips me, and I go sprawling off to the side. You know, we're up on a hill, so I land in the leaves. But I'm pissed off, you know.
Yeah.
And so I get up and I go, I scream, you know. And of course I'm a big guy. It scares the heck out of the dog. I say, "You fucking little pricks!" I undid them, and I said, "Go, you walk on your own. One goes this way, one goes that way." I mean, I grabbed one of them. I couldn't pull him off the.
I'm sorry for laughing, but
no, I couldn't disconnect him right away. So I had to grab him by the neck, you know, and of course, you know, and I sort of pushed one away like this, and you know, one goes this way, one goes that way. So the male, I go get him, and he's like flying in the ground like, "Oh, don't hurt me!" You know, I have to run 100 yards to get him. Then I go run back, yelling for my dog, and you know, I finally come back into the neighborhood because I'm up on the hill. And are you looking for a little white dog? I saw her running down this way. She runs all the way home, which is about a mile away. Luckily, there weren't a lot of cars on our hill, you know, because we live kind of in a rural area.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, and she goes immediately into the house as soon as my wife opens the door and runs downstairs and is hiding under my wife's.
And thinks on you. You should see what Daddy did to me.
Yeah, no, it's just like, oh, you know. I think this thing with Colette, I realized that she's probably going to live for a while, but it's, you know, she's got this chronic problem, which is, you know, cancer's not going to go away, and she just got back from the hospital, had her second mastectomy. It had anything to do with cancer. She was tired of having a boob that was there, one boob. You know, it's very uncomfortable, but it takes a while to recover from that. You know, you got all this fluid. She's got to wear these drains, and she's such a positive person. You know, she's so upbeat, but she can't move her arms. So I'm basically the nurse. You know, I'm cooking, I'm doing the shopping. I'm going, I don't mind doing that, but it's like, you know, Christ, and I got a daughter who's going through, you know, early stages of puberty, and she's a great kid, but she's a handful. Sometimes.
Oh yeah. Listen, whether or not just so you know, whether or not Colette was going through that, she'd still be a handful.
Oh, I know. No, I know.
Been there, done that.
I think that's the main thing. You know, she's worried about Colette, but she's a smart kid, but she's going through some. You know, she's rebellious, not rebellious with us, but just she's very, very smart, and she's like this little feminist, little feminazi is what she is, which I think is fine. No problem. She shaved her head. You know, she's got the you know, she wants to. She does. She probably, if she could do it, she'd do the tattoos and the nose rings. But Colette never wanted that. I said, if you want to shave your head, that's fine. You know, she's got the short, bristly hair.
The whole thing?
Yeah. She just got tired, and she goes, "It's a pain in the rear taking care of this hair." You know, she had to.
So that might be a little bit.
Half an hour dealing with it. So
okay, well,
I live in Fairfax. The nice thing about living in Fairfax is people can be what they want to be, and nobody's gonna. You know, it's not like a restaurant.
Unless you're conservative, then they're gonna bomb your car.
Believe it or not, there's plenty of conservative people who live in Fairfax. You'd be surprised.
I would be surprised. Yeah,
no, you would be. I mean, it's.
Well, I mean, some of the people who go to church would live there.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, you know, I mean, conservative has nothing to do with lifestyle. It's just how you look at, you know.
But that's true.
You know, I mean, some of the most conservative people I know are liberals. My parents were very conservative. Their lifestyle-wise. Oh my God, yeah.
They were I got you.
Lifestyle-wise, yeah. And I mean, they didn't screw around on each other. They didn't do a lot of drinking.
Oh,
they weren't into, you know, they weren't into all the crazy things that a lot of people do. That they what they liked doing was going to plays and going to the art museum and going out to jazz clubs and traveling and, you know, reading and, you know, the good things in life.
Gotcha.
But my poor mom, you know, she was bipolar. And my brother, I think I told you about, he's just
Yeah.
totally messed. You know, I don't in a funk very long. And this thing with my wife it's just made me angry. It's made me sad, and and I realize it's just part of life. You know, there's nothing I can do about it. I realize it's part of life.
Yeah.
It's you know, it's like when you skin your knee or you get in a little auto wreck. These things happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's your body isn't perfect.
I was a snowmobile accident.
Oh,
Something
sure.
stupid.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to like make sure that I didn't, you know, I like don't hold it over my daughter's head. So to
No,
speak. Like,
no,
what did I do?
exactly.
You know, it's like, hey, it's just a complete accident. Could have happened to anybody.
It happens. The last thing with my dog yesterday. I mean, I could have broken my shoulder or something. I was really pissed off, you know, and I was pissed off at the fact that I had to be wedded to these two little dogs that I don't dislike them, but I don't like having to take care of them. I didn't want them. I did not want dogs.
See,
I wanted one big dog, you know, good size. If we're gonna get a dog, let's get a regular dog.
Gotcha. Not
You know,
these little yappers.
Not these little yappers.
Yeah.
They're noisy.
You can't
they
do
poop
anything
all the
with
time.
them.
They pee all the time. But
See,
they're
that's the
perfect for our house because they're so small. But you know, it's just like.
Does Molly take care of them at all?
Oh, they sleep with her. You know, she loves them. But you know, it's like typical kid.
Yeah,
Who's going to end up with it?
Yeah.
And 10 years from now, God help me if you know if my wife lasts that long, and she's off doing her thing. I'm going to be stuck with these frickin' critters, and I'm not going to give them up for adoption. Are you kidding me?
Well, not if you have
That'd be a terrible thing to do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be stuck with them and my cat, who's like this love sponge. He climbs up on his big fat cat. He puts his little paws right up here and does this. I'm just surrounded by so much love. I can't handle it. I'm not used to it. My parents were not real demonstrative. They were there, but after I was like 10 or 11 or 12 years old, no hugs, no kisses.
Really?
No.
That's well, my dad was always like that.
Yeah,
my mom was a little bit too
my mom was
affectionate.
standoffish.
We're going ending
my dad
stream
was
now.